Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Gooch. Today we're going to be doing G.I. Joe Classified number 173, Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. Welcome to the Cobra Report. Just a reminder to please like and subscribe to my channel for more G.I. Joe Classified content. We're going to be breaking this video up today into two parts. We're going to be doing Sergeant Slaughter's 1, Mercer's part 2. Otherwise, that'd be a really long video and ain't nobody got time for that. So today, we're going to be doing Mercer. Let's take a look. All right, so before we talk about the figures, we got to look at the box. Here we go, standard window packaging, Hasbro, the G.I. Joe symbol, Sergeant Slaughter, Felix, Mercer, Stratton. I don't understand why sometimes they give them names, sometimes they don't give them names. Be consistent. That's all I'm asking for. All right, sides, we got all these symbols that don't mean anything to anybody. Some box art. This is some terrible box art. Sarge looks okay, but Mercer just looks awful. Not sure what's going on. This is more like the cover girl and the Flint one where it looks like it might be AI. Hasbro swears it's not AI, but they refuse to name the artist of it, which is questionable. The back, you see them in action mode. Again, you got Sergeant Slaughter. We got to talk about this. Mercer. What the hell is this? They look like they took a picture of him while he was sitting on the toilet, just like trying to force one out. This is awful. It's like whoever designed Mercer just really does not like Mercer and wants us all to know. So again, Sarge looks pretty cool here. Mercer, not really sure what's going on. But regardless, let's take a look at the figures, all right? All right, so here he is out of the packaging, everyone. Comes with standard with this weird face sculpt. I mean, who saw the beginning of the video? The picture on the back just looks ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking with this head sculpt. I guess it's not as bad when you look at it here versus what they show on the back of the package. Without the sunglasses on, it doesn't look as bad, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. So we're going to immediately swap that out and put the other one where he's not growling. He doesn't have the growling face. Now this one's fine. This one he's just stern. Just a stern face. Still not one of their best face sculpts. They were on a roll for a while with some of the face sculpts, and now I'm just disappointed in this one. But otherwise, I mean that's just me. You guys may enjoy it. I don't know. This one here reminds me too much of the Road Pig. There's just kind of got the open mouth. Oh, like what the hell is that? I don't know what they're thinking. Some of these head sculpts I don't get. Like give us, so they come with the tactical glasses, which is cool, but these tactical glasses fall off really easily. So they don't really fit quite properly. They fall off really easily. I do like they are clear. So this is clear plastic and they paint the sides. So you do kind of see through them, which is neat. It's a nice little touch. But I think if you're going to give me an alternate head sculpt, I would prefer that the glasses be sculpted on. Because so many times these guys fall over and their glasses go flying. These are barely held on. And it just would be a nicer touch. I don't need him in mid-growl looking all ridiculous. I do like, however, they did paint his teeth. So that is nice. So he does have the growl, and he does have, they painted the lips a little bit to give him a little added depth. So some of it is good. I do like some of the stuff about the face sculpt, but the overall sculpt, I think, is just poor. But all right, we'll talk about the rest of the figure here. Now, he does come with a lot of load-ups. He's got multiple weapons, multiple rifles. Not sure what this thing is. It's almost like an old-school Tommy gun. I've never seen gun load like that, where it's in the back. I don't know. I'm not a military person. It does come off. So maybe you guys out there, any of you are in the military, you can post in the comments, is this kind of gun an even actual thing? These ones, much more sturdy than the ones that came with Sergeant Slaughter, which is weird because it's a 2-pack, but the ones that came with Sergeant Slaughter are the rubbery ones. They're really disappointing. Handgun here, this one does come with the suppressor. The suppressor, however, is very loose. So you could actually take this off and put it on any of the other weapons too if you want, but then it'll look goofy. And he's got his knife and his backpack. So I do like that Mercer comes with a backpack. I did mention in the other review the Sergeant Slaughter should have come with a backpack because where's he going to put any of his weapons? Now, having said that Mercer comes with a backpack, there's nowhere to hang any of his weapons. So So he's got this big bulky backpack on here, and it serves no function because you can't store any of his guns anywhere. It's a decent sculpt to it. Not one of my favorites of the backpacks. It does have the canteens on either side. I think they missed an opportunity to paint the canteens. That would have been neat. This is all one solid black color. There should be a little bit of paint apps on here. Maybe on just some of the buckling, something, anything. Just needs a little bit of paint apps on there. But overall, it's just a backpack. Nothing special. All right, so we'll talk about the actual figure himself. He's got his crew cut. The hair sculpt is actually decent. Like I said, this sculpt isn't too bad. This is just he looks like just a menacing, angry dude. Almost looks like maybe like an Eastern European guy. Looks like he might be Russian or something. So this is a new vest. This vest is sculpted just for him. Does have the couple pouches are here. He's got the Cobra symbol crossed out because Mercer was a former Crimson Guard who defected and became a Joe. So that's a nice little backstory. One of the things I do want to comment right now is that this figure is way too small. If any of you are familiar with the comic book or the cartoon, Mercer is huge. He's a menacing guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's just a super tall guy. And let's compare him to Sergeant Slaughter here. All right, so here he is next to Sergeant Slaughter, and Sergeant Slaughter towers over him. So at the very least, Mercer should be the same height as Sergeant Slaughter, but he's not. He's considerably smaller than Sergeant Slaughter, and if you know the figure, that shouldn't be the case. He should be the same height or even taller than Sergeant Slaughter. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. In fact, look at him next to General Hawk, and he's the same height, maybe just about an inch taller. So, I mean, you've got a guy who's in his prime versus a dude who's 50 years old, and they're the exact same height. Mercer should tower over General Hawk. He should tower over all of the Joes, but he doesn't. So that's a little bit disappointing, but it's just an aesthetic choice. I am curious why they chose to do that. They didn't have to. They could have used, I think they should have reversed it actually. They've already got Sergeant Slaughter sculpts, so they could have just reused the Sergeant Slaughter sculpt from before, repainted it. We probably all would have been happy with that instead they used Heavy Duty's body. But they could have used Heavy Duty's body for Mercer here and just given him the vest part over it. I mean, this is a separate part anyway that goes over this body sculpt. So this sculpt we've seen multiple times too. So this is a separate molded piece. Just mold a piece and put it over Heavy Duty, but they didn't do that. So now we have a short Mercer. But either way, his design is pretty true to the figure that we all know. So again, he's got these nice little pouches here. It does have the little paint there for like the buckle. He does have the holster on his chest for his gun. So we're gonna put that in there. Now the original, 3 3/4 inch, he did have a silver gun attached. It was not removable. It was a silver gun. So I think they should have had a silver gun there just as a nod to the original. But maybe they'll do that in the retro. Who knows? So this belt here is a separate piece. This is a separate. It's got these nice little bullets labeled in here. This is really kind of a cool sculpt to the belt. So it's got the clasps right there in a different color, and it's got the nice sculpting there. Another pouch on the side, another pouch here. If anything, though, I think it should have had maybe a few more pouches or slightly larger pouches, because the belt doesn't seem to really serve any purpose other than to hold 6 bullets and 2 tiny pouches. So why do you need 2 belts? It's a double belt, and it's got 2 tiny pouches. But, alright, so that's an aesthetic choice. He does have the one glove longer than the other one. Now he does have, okay, so this one, he is wearing a watch just like Sergeant Slaughter, but this one does have the paint app of the time on there. So why didn't you do that with Sergeant Slaughter? These come together. It would have been nice to have a little consistency. I don't understand it. The knuckles, the padded knuckles with the different color on them, that's a really nice touch there. He does have the different color on the inside, the gray. This little, I don't know, bicep band, which really serves no purpose other than to just kind of look cool. He does have a couple tattoos here. So he's got the web on the back, which, depending on you know, your school. Sometimes it means you've been in prison and that's how long you've been in prison. Other people, it's a metaphor for like time, with a little spider up here. So that's kind of cool. They put it on his elbow. That's a nice little touch. He does have, so he's got the pocket here on the side of his pants. Is this pocket separate? Because he's got the strap that goes, the little gray that goes all the way down the side, but the pocket is over it. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's a different piece. It does look like it's the same material. So they do have this nice little material sculpt that they put over it. So it isn't just solid. It does have some texture to it, which is really nice. The pockets on the back are sculpted in, seam down the bottom. It does have, it appears, okay, so that's just the plastic ripped off on the back. So these are black knee pads, but they're not really like attached to anything. Ooh, are a little bit tight. So are they sewn into his jeans, or what's the deal with that? It would have been nice if they just painted the entire mid piece of his knee black. So that way it would have been almost like they had an actual knee pad and it was, you know, a separate piece of his jeans. But this kind of makes it seem like it is sewn into the jeans. So he does have the black boots, nice leather boots. It does have this cool little strap on the side and this little piece, this little flap that goes over it, which is a nice little touch. So I believe these are new sculpt on the shoes too. So from the waist down is new sculpt. So that's good. He does have the sheath here on his ankle, or not his ankle, on his calf, which is cool. So that fits there. Put his glasses on and don't really fit too much. All right, so let's check out his maneuverability. So right away, his arms go right out. So that's good. I've commented some of the other ones, their arms don't really go out. His go all the way up, so that's good. They go all the way up. They bend the bicep really nice, which is cool. The wrists go in and out. They are not as maneuverable. That one moves pretty well. This one seems to be pretty stiff, doesn't move as well. That could just be the position that it's in. No, it definitely does not move very well. So maybe that one doesn't have the articulation on it. It does not. So this one does not have the articulation on it. Again, it comes with alternate hands, but I think those are all Sergeant Slaughter hands. I don't think Mercer actually comes with any additional hands because all the hands are flesh colored, whereas Mercer has the gloves. So those all have to be Sergeant Slaughter hands, not Mercer hands. Doesn't really explain very well. I mean, you can kind of mix them up. If you wanted to, you can put them on here, but those are basically Sergeant Slaughter hands. So the joints all move very well for the elbows. Not too stiff, which is good. Shoulders do fold inward a little bit. Not really good movements with the shoulders moving inward. They do slightly move inward, but they're pretty stiff there. He does swivel better. Okay, so he swivels really nice. Sergeant Slaughter barely moves. He's got very little. He does not bend at the waist. Arms go up, the legs go up, they go out. He can do the splits as well. Nice joints here on the knees. They seem to have corrected a lot of the issues with the super tight joints. A lot of them in the past have been so hard to move that I've been afraid to break them. The last few figures that I've reviewed have been very nice and pliable, which is really nice. So, all right, here he is. Here's Mercer. He's really nothing special, but I mean, honestly, his design in the comic and in the TV show wasn't anything special. He's got the red vest, check. The blue jeans, check. The line going down the side, check. He checks all the boxes except for he's short. That's it. That's the only problem I have with this figure. Overall, he's really nothing special. He's just a guy in a red vest with blue jeans. I think not making him giant really hurts the presentation of this guy. In fact, just because of the boots going that high up and with the knee pads, it almost makes him even look shorter because it kind of reduces the length of his legs. I think he even looks smaller from behind. So Mercer, supposed to be giant, supposed to be this huge guy, just an average sized dude. A little bit of a disappointment there. The backpack doesn't hold any weapons, doesn't have any paint apps on it. And here's another one too. He has a backpack. What's holding the backpack on? There's no straps for the backpack. He just has a backpack just stuck to the back of his vest. Is it Velcro? What's keeping these backpacks on? They did this a lot with the early Joes, where they gave him backpacks and then nothing holding the backpack onto them. It just went into the peg on his back, but you know, if these are supposed to be slightly realistic looking, he should have straps holding the backpack on. He does not. So that's a little weird. I don't like it, you know, it's another missed opportunity. Make it, if you're going to be basing these on realism, if you're going to be more realistic, then he should have straps holding the backpack on. And look how far out that comes from his back. It's just very cumbersome, very fat. Doesn't need to be this way. They could have made it maybe wider and flatter, and I think it would have been better. Could have had like a little bedroll on there. And again, just something to keep these weapons on. We've seen backpacks in the past where they have little peg marks where you can hold the guns. The most recent backpacks have not had that. I don't know why they stepped away from that. It was a nice little touch where you were able to store their weaponry on their person, and now you can't do that. So overall, Mercer, a little bit disappointing. When you add him with Sergeant Slaughter, it's a much better 2-pack, but again, is the value there? Sergeant Slaughter's weapons, super flimsy, very rubbery. These are nice and solid, so my guess is Sergeant Slaughter was made first. This was never supposed to be a 2-pack. I think Mercer was supposed to be a separate figure from Sergeant Slaughter. They made those weapons earlier and had Sergeant Slaughter and then decided to make it a 2-pack. And then again, by charging us $60 instead of $50 like it should be, each one of these Joes by themselves is $25 here in America. So we get 2 Joes for $60. But this isn't any added weaponry from any of the other classifieds. So what is that extra $10 going to? A ton of reuse on Sergeant Slaughter and some very flimsy weapons on Sergeant Slaughter, and then guys with nowhere to put any of their weaponry. So alright everybody, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is the value there? What do you think of the figure? Do you prefer the Mercer sculpt? Do you like the Sergeant Slaughter new sculpt? Let me know, and we'll see you soon for another G.I. Joe Classified review.